today with Katerina Sigala. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the gentleman of presence, and the king of versatility, Fazon Gray. Woo!
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome, welcome. So, you come from such a rich cultural background, okay? African, Indian, and Chinese heritage. How How has that shaped your identity, both personally and professionally?
Uh, I believe that it shaped my identity because I'm just used to growing up around certain people who were just movers and shakers and hustlers and just the constant grind of just figuring out like what to do next and what's the next step. So I think that's been kind of engraved in me from all of the cultures that I've been blessed to be a part of. And even the ones that I've experienced along the way, I've just found a lot of people that like they find what they love, and they add the fact that they've had to hustle to get to a certain point where they're able to make money off of what they love, and they're able to push forward.
Hmm, nice. Growing up in Harlem, New York, what kind of environment molded you into who you are today?
Hmm. Um, I'll say a lot of the situations that I've either lived around or lived in or have been in growing up, especially, it just wasn't. So I've lived two different lives, right? I've lived in a really, you know, um, expensive, really like, you know, um, comfortable life, and I've also lived in the hood and in a really uncomfortable environment. So I've
Hmm,
been able to see the blessings on both sides, and I've been able to take pieces from each side into becoming who I am as a person. So I think that from, like the less privileged lifestyle, I've learned to, the things that a lot of people take for granted.
Can you repeat, please, because I didn't hear you before?
Oh, I said, I feel like from, like the lower kind of like lifestyle, for what the world thinks that is, or whatever, I think that I've learned to appreciate things, even when I've gone to visit like, third world countries and, done like, missions work and, I've seen, kids walking around barefoot, people sharing a loaf of bread, like 10 people. I think that from living in a certain environment when I was younger, it taught me to just appreciate everything.
That's very nice, and that's why you have this mindset, and this is very good. So, what early memories do you have of realizing you wanted to step into modeling or the arts?
Well, I've always been artistic, ever since I was little. I used to draw, I would paint. I've been to art camps. I've sold my artwork at the Waldorf Astoria as a kid. And I think that from me looking at life as an artist, I've always found ways to make things art. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be basketball, it could be, rapping, it could be poetry, it could be anything that you do in life, fashion, fitness, because I look at art as life and creativity. If you're able to think in a certain way and just understand how things work in a basic way, then
Mhm.
you're able to shift and throw your art into whatever you do in life.
Exactly, nice. Mm, were there any mentors or pivotal moments that shifted your path towards this career?
Yeah. So I believe uh, it kind of fell into my lap, modeling, especially.
Mm,
I'm 17 years old, and one of my first partners, of my life, beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful heart, beautiful soul. Her family, they did fashion shows. And so, like, I was invited to go to the fashion show, and it was my first fashion show. It was really interesting to me, and I dressed up. I think I had like my church clothes on, like like curls in my hair, and probably too brief. But I was trying my best just to look, presentable. And one of them, the directors, they reached out to me afterwards and were like, "Hey, we'd love to have you next year." And so I think that's kind of like what opened my eyes up to even that being a possibility for me. So I followed through with it, and I came in the next year, and I did my first photo shoot. I rehearsed for around like it was like 6 weeks. So I would go from New York to New Jersey every Thursday, and we would do like rehearsals, and I'd be walking in front of people. And I just remember feeling so uncomfortable.
Okay.
And then I had my first show, and everybody's like naked backstage and rushing, and then I just
Yeah.
realized super fast. Like you do all this preparation, it's like 15 seconds. You know, um, so I think that's kind of how I kind of fell into it, and then after that, I posted those photos online, and a lot of people reached out to me. I got some good reception, good feedback, and I shot with those people, and basically moments like that happen in my life over and over again. When I was doing like another job where I was a janitor and I was just carrying stuff and moving things, like a random lady walked up to me at a gas station and she asked if I was a model. And she happened to be, an ex Victoria's Secret model. And, she was a photographer. So she shot me. And then I think it's just following through and actually just listening to the universe over and over again.
Okay, nice. I think if God wants something for you, He will send you a lot of messages and
Yes.
a lot of people to support you for sure. So, what were the biggest challenges you faced early on?
Uh, the biggest challenges for me, being a black model, especially growing up in New York during those times, I'm talking about like before, I'm dating myself, but I'm talking about like before GPS, before there was social media, when you actually had to go out and find your castings and, like get lost and then sneak into Fashion Week. And it was a whole different life. And I think the most difficult part of that was understanding that you would not always be accepted and still pushing forward and learning how to cope with rejection, and
Mm.
also that you have to control your ego at the same time. So there has to be a consistent balance of confidence, right? Where like somebody's kicking you down, but you have to uplift yourself. But then you
Mm.
can't, then you got to bring yourself down. So it's just that constant battle of the ego and the rejection and the racism. I've dealt with racism, of course. I've heard certain things would not be said nowadays. I don't know if you've seen America's Next Top Model thing that came out recently, the documentary. It's
Oh, no, no.
been very bad, the things that were said back then, the models. We were looked at as like just, a clothes hanger. It was very, there were very bad things said to a lot of models. So,
Oh my gosh.
I've been in front of, casting directors when I'm in a room full of white models and I'm standing there in front of them and they didn't even pick their head up, towards me, like to just completely ignore me. So, yeah, I've
My
seen it
gosh.
pretty much, but it discourages you. But at the same time, if you really want something, then you're going to keep pushing forward and find your own ways to create what they said you can't do.
Wh- when you okay, when you had this experience, what did you do? What was your action?
Uh, I just walked away. I mean, there's nothing else we could do, really. I walked away and I was just like, all right, well, that's not for me. It felt like a waste of time. and I felt like somebody would like my look because so many people came up to me already and gave me opportunities. So I just look as the universe balancing things out. Not everybody's gonna like your look, not everybody's gonna like the color of your skin, not everyone's gonna like your size, not everyone's gonna like your hair color. But at the
Mm,
end of the day, yourself, and if you have confidence, then you're gonna exude that confidence in front of the camera. And if someone says, "Oh, you can't shoot this, you can't shoot that," prove them wrong. Find a way to make your own. Like if I wasn't getting booked for any editorials, any suit projects, so I bought my own suit. I was working hard. I was picking up trash, and I put my money together, and I booked a photographer for $400. I had all my outfits. I put that work in because I believed in myself. No,
exactly. Sometimes I can hear you.
I was just saying, no one is going to do it for you. If you believe in yourself, you gotta take those steps and invest in yourself.
Very nice and very good advice. How did you develop your versatility? I said right? Across fashion, fitness, editorial, and commercials.
I think that just comes with longevity. When you do something for almost 20 years, for me at least, I would get bored of doing the same thing over and over again.
Mm,
So the boundaries and test the waters and see what I can do. And when someone says I can't do something, that makes me want to do it even more because I'm a Leo and I'm very stubborn. Um, so for me, it was like, oh, you can't do fashion. So I slimmed my body down and I got people to invest in me to purchase clothes. I got a bunch of different brands to promote for them, and I would just do fashion like crazy. So much that I've been able to have rub shoulders with some really influential people in the fashion industry, and I never knew I could. Like literally, they just want to box me into a category. And a lot of photographers of just underwear and nude and implied nude and just like the eye candy, which is cool. But I also just always felt like I could do more. It's not like I don't want to do that too. I love, showcasing the body that I work so hard for. But I also like fashion and I also like commercial work. I love to show my personality. Um, and I don't feel like you should ever allow somebody to box you into one category. Why not try it? The worst thing that you can do is fail. But if you don't try at all, then ultimately you failed in the worst way possible.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I like that you don't like the boxes. So
No,
also, um, what separates a good model from a great model in your opinion?
mm. um, hmm. I would say what separates a good model from a great model, is that the
Hmm.
question?
Yeah.
The It's the fact that you don't have to direct them as much.
Hmm.
Like I'm not really like I'm not a photographer. I've been a set director. I've styled. I've helped with behind the scenes for photo shoots. And what I've noticed the most with the models that everyone gets excited about is that they just flow.
Hmm.
There's no real need for direction or instruction. It's just you hear the clicks, you move with it, you feel the vibe, you feel the room, you feel the energy. I feel like the greatest models are just able to flow.
Hmm.
They might need a little bit more direction.
Okay. Okay, nice. Okay, you've worked with powerhouse brands like Rolex, Omega, Ralph Lauren, Fragrances, T-Mobile, and DNC. So, how does your approach change depending on the brand?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Okay. How does your approach change depending on the brand?
Are you saying my approach towards the brands or my approach in regards to what?
Change depending on the brand.
Uh, huh. Do you mean like as far as me reaching out to the brands?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I mean, I normally, well, I have had a manager, who's helped with a lot of this as well. Um, and what I realized is that when it comes to like fitness stuff, well, you just have to basically show them what they're looking for as far as deliverables, and you also have to show, like you said, like that versatility. So I'm able to. That's when you box yourself in when you're applying to a specific type of product or a specific type of shoe. So if it's commercial, I send them, like my fitness images. Or if it's fitness, I'm not going to show them my fashion images. If it's fashion, I'm not going to show them my commercial images. They're all three different categories. So the good thing about, having longevity and just shooting for years is that I have like a lot of different layers to myself. So if it's like if it's like Rolex, then that category can go into commercial. It can go into fashion. So you wouldn't send them anything that's fitness related because no one's gonna like do anything fitness related when it comes to Rolex unless it's like maybe a sports watch, watch that can like monitor like your heart rate or something like that. So if it's like a T4 Energy, I'm not gonna send a supplement brand, pictures of me in a suit. So it's just kind of looking at what the brand already puts out. And hopefully, which really helps is when they send you deliverables
Mm,
or like a mood board. They're able to know exactly what they want.
perfect. Yeah, that helps a lot in general, even for the movies.
Yeah.
So, is there a campaign that challenged your creatively or physically?
Hmm. I think there are a lot of campaigns that do that. And it's only because with the campaign, it's more specific towards what the marketing person and the client wants. So in those cases, those might not be the most fun shoots. You may have fun with the people behind the scenes, but it's still a job at the end of the day. And one of my greatest friends, Dallas Logan, he's a really dope photographer. He told me, he was like, you do the jobs, the boring jobs or the jobs that you don't really want to do, so you can live the life that you want.
Mm,
So if it's not everything's gonna be, where I can throw in my creativity. Even though I might be on set, and I'm like, damn, we could have done this like a little differently, and this would have made it look, more organic, or just feel more natural. You feel more from the heart. But when it comes to like business and what someone, a product or a company or a client wants, you just have to perform and give them exactly what they want at that moment. As far as the shoot,
yeah, 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 I understand. Um, what happens behind the scenes that most people don't realize about big productions?
oh, behind the scenes, what a lot of people don't realize is it's just not as glamorous as people think it is. There's a lot of like chaos and just imagine there are 30 people on set and like you're in a set on set and you're in like this random location in like West Bubble, West Bubble, and no one knows the exact location, and you got to be there at like 6 a.m. and it's a 15-hour day, and everybody's just trying to get there on time to have their job filled, and then you have to just make this look as smooth as possible, and everyone is just like nervous about messing up, and it's so much anxiety and chaos, and I kind of have fallen in love with that part because you just know from being in so many projects that it's going to work out. And I just sit back and I just look at people and I'm just like, it's like a cartoon. And we just running back and forth. Like, And then and now I'm the one who's like running around, like so. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, like how much effort goes into making something look so perfect.
Okay. Okay, the cartoon side. So,
Yeah,
fitness is clearly a huge part of your brand. When did that passion begin?
I'm sorry, did you say fitness?
Yeah, when it starts.
Well, fitness for me started at a very early age. I was probably 6 or 7 years old when I started to run track, and I swam. I was like swimming, and basically my uncle he worked for Riverbank State Park, which was like one of the biggest state parks in Harlem in New York. So I would run, and I would just like grind, and I'd be pushed, beyond limits. And I came home with a lot of ribbons. Good. I was very competitive at an early age. And then I kind of like just would play basketball throughout the years, off and on. And then I played basketball in high school when I was 17, and that was when I was introduced to weights, to weightlifting. Um, from the swimming routines that we would do, because when I was on the basketball team, we would work out underwater. We'd work out our legs underwater and do laps, and we'd also like just run drills like crazy, run suicides and defensive drills, and so that kind of like geared me toward working out. And then once the weight room came, I was just like a kid in a candy store, and I was there like every day after school. It was me and a group of guys, and we would just train, So that kind of started it for me.
It was in your blood.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was ordained.
Okay. How does athletic this discipline influence your modeling, your work?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
How does athletic discipline, I said right?
Like discipline.
Yeah, influence your modeling work.
Um, Athletic discipline definitely influences my modeling work because, first of all, if you're rushing somewhere, if you're rushing a set, you may need to walk a little fast. You may be carrying a duffel bag, like you may have like clothes and you may need to rush from this place to this place. Like when you're on set, you want to have, good energy, positive energy. And to be honest with you, just energy that's just flowing,
Mm.
like because no one wants a dead or tired model. That's boring. Like you look like you're sleeping. Like you gotta have like your energy up, And for me, I realized that my energy levels have always increased the more that I work out. The healthier my diet is. No alcohol, no drugs. Like my energy is just high. My energy level is very high. So I think that athleticism that it just falls into that, and also when you're doing certain poses, because you're able to do certain poses that other models who may not be as flexible or as athletic can do. So
Mm.
you'll get certain shots that will, it'll give you a little bit more of a category to choose from at the end of all your shots.
Yeah, yeah. You are right, of course. As a personal trainer, what do you think people misunderstood or misunderstand about transformation?
Mm, I think um, I think the biggest thing that people don't understand about transformation is that it doesn't happen overnight. You don't become your fitness goal by training for 3 months straight and eating correctly for 3 months straight and resting well for 3 months straight and then stopping. You like literally, I would say the best thing that you can do is to turn your fitness goals and your fitness story into a lifestyle. When you allow fitness to become a part of your life, it feels less like you're putting a date on yourself to look a certain way or to feel a certain way.
Mm.
Giving yourself you give yourself a fair opportunity to succeed in what you think you're supposed to be. Like I think a lot of people they see Instagram and it's like and TikTok and all that, and it's like, yo, like these are a lot of these people are photoshopped. First of all, a lot of these people are also like they have had surgeries, have had supplements. If you're
Mm,
going, I think that a lot of people are very hard on themselves when they don't see those results automatically. And I always say, you got to look at how old you are, how long you've lived your life one way, and give yourself that same amount of time to reverse it. You can't have been out of shape for 20 years in your life and then you think that you're going to just be the best in shape person in a year.
exactly. You need time.
Right.
And here in US, it's more difficult because of the food that you have.
Yes, it is. It is. Juice a lot. And I also I fast like for like the beginning of the day. So I only eat after 2 p.m. and I try to eat like one protein with each meal, and I put greens in each meal, and I use like very little sugar. I try not to use too much salt. Like I don't even trust eating outside. I don't. Like I literally have to cook all my meals now.
Of course. um, okay, so the sugar, I don't like the desserts and stuff like that, but without coffee, I can live.
Oh,
And in my coffee, I have sugar a lot.
it's, it's to each his own. And I love coffee occasionally. I do. I just also have stopped myself from drinking coffee as much as I used to.
Mm,
So to a coffee if I'm having, a business meeting with someone, or if I'm just there's a day where I just need to feel some like warm comfort, that comes from coffee.
mm.
Spice in there, and I'll add honey and a little bit of cinnamon. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with coffee. It's just I just kind of shied away from it.
Yeah, you did very good job. Not for me. Greeks, we love coffee.
Greek coffee is different too. It's better in the
It is different. Here, the coffee that you have here, it's not coffee. It's like you drink dessert
right.
with
Yes.
whipped cream on top, with this. It's too much.
Mm.
So let's go. What's your philosophy when it comes to self-improvement?
Uh, my philosophy when it comes to self improvement. Hmm. Yeah. I just feel like you have to look into yourself. Understand who you are, and understand who you are at that moment. Understand who you were, and then understand who you want to be. I think that everything kind of aligns in life, and everything happens for a reason. There's certain things that I'm not like extremely proud of, from my past, but I ask myself, why did I go through it? And then like there's certain moments, in the present where I'm like, why am I going through this? Or why? Like I always ask questions to myself. I question myself and I think about like how I react in situations and how I could react better. And I think that once you give up on learning in life, then you stop yourself from self improvement. But once you just realize that like life is just a big book and you're just flipping the pages and you're just reading it day by day and trying to figure it out, I think that's self improvement right there.
Oh yeah, I agree. Um, okay. How, this is very important for the people that they will see the interview too and they want to be in the industry. How do you stay mentally strong in such and competitive industry?
Mm. Uh, I mean, yeah, I think in order to be mentally strong, you have to just believe in yourself and for me, my heart was my mother, who passed away 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
And thank you. And she always believed in me. And I think for me, it's easy to remember hearing her say certain things towards me. Like the last things that she said to me when I was in Costa Rica, I was on the phone with her. The last words that she said to me was that she's proud of me and that she loved me. And
Oh,
uh, constantly hearing someone praise you and tell you that you're great and tell you, you're amazing what you do and that they're proud of you and you're going to be successful and you're handsome and you're so strong. It's not an ego thing. It's like a thing where I've always had that support from the best woman I ever met in my life. So whenever I have hard times, and I do have very hard times, and I understand that other people have it worse. I'm just speaking for myself. In those moments, I'm able to hear her voice, and I'm able to remember it, and I'm able to snap out of it. So I think that you just have to reach within yourself and either find those people that believe in you and that show you your worth, or just have those talks to yourself. Tell yourself your worth. Show yourself what you've done. Prove yourself wrong. If you're doubting yourself, prove yourself wrong.
you said something amazing. You talk to yourself. I think it's the most difficult discussion that you can do with someone. It's yourself.
A lot of people avoid that.
Yeah, yeah. For a reason.
Right? It's easy
Rob,
and find other people's mistakes and find other people's weaknesses and find out what makes people wrong. Very difficult to find that out about yourself.
I totally agree 100%. 100%. So, being um, features in publications like Men's Fitness and Daily News, what does that how can I say this? Recognition mean to you? The people they can.
Um, I believe that first of all, being in any publication is a recognition that I'm very grateful for. Just to come from where I've come from and to have been this kid with a dream and to have that acknowledged is that's to me that's just it's phenomenal. Like I mean, like there's no words that can like kind of like express how grateful I am for that because like I'm just this one person, I'm this one man in this world, and you decided to take a look into my life and see like what makes me go. Even this podcast, like you decided to like to talk to me and to hear like my take on life, and I'm always honored and just grateful for that. Like, and I think that with certain publications, it's more of I guess validation from the people that you're supposed to be seen by. So that's cool. I don't really focus my life on that. Um, but it's really it's rewarding and I think it's humiliating and I'm very grateful for it.
Of course, you do something good, so the people they want to know. That's why I invite you to, and I think the same they did the magazines too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Um, I appreciate too. Do you feel pressure to maintain a certain image?
I think I used to feel pressure to
Mm,
maintain this, and then I realized that can I curse?
no.
Well, I realized that the industry is BS. Um, so I think being around certain people who I thought were like millionaires and they're in like these houses and you come to find out they're either renting it or it's their friend's house and like I've seen everything from Beverly Hills to like to Istanbul to Miami to like California everywhere like so I think once I've been in those environments and I saw how like it was just like regular kind of like it was just like all right well it's a lot of smoke and mirrors and that made me kind of look at things a little differently too. Like, is this something that I want to
Mm.
100% be a part of and partake in this way, or do I just want to do it in my own way and on my own accord? So I chose to do the path of my own direction. That's been a path that's been set by God for me, and I'm grateful for that. And I think that when I take a step back and I realize how things really are, I'm just like, yeah, I don't really want to be that person who's faking until like they're 60 years old.
This is nice. That's why I invite you. You understand now.
Okay.
um, Tell us about your. I don't know why I choose these words for my questions today. Tell us about your initiative, initiative,
Initiative.
initiative. Ah,
Okay.
live, learn, win. What
Yes.
inspired it?
So live, learn, win is for me. It's more of a mindset. There is a brand attached to it, um, but it came to me in a dream, and I was sleeping, and it just registered to me. I don't know how it happened. I literally would just say that God just like put that on my lap, um, because it came to me, and I woke up. I had my notebook next to me, and I just drew the first design of it. So it's live, learn, win, turning your losses to wins. So your losses, an L, and a W.
Wow, wow. So why is giving back to Harlem so important to you?
I feel like giving back to the community is very important. When I was younger growing up, there were a lot of people who spoke to me and a lot of people who provided opportunities for me. And I think that that's one of the main things that the youth needs nowadays. There's a lot of youth who's just misled and bored, and they don't know what to do with themselves. And we always had like programs. I was able to meet Hillary Clinton when I was like 17 years old. We went to the White House. Like we went to Africa twice. Like, and we went to Nicaragua. Like we were doing mission trips. We were seeing different aspects of life. We were able to go to different camps. Like, I think that kids and the youth in general need their minds stimulated more, in a positive, trajectory, because a lot of these kids they're not bad. They just really don't know what they're supposed to do in life. There's no direction. And there's nothing for them to take out all that energy on. So unfortunately, there's been a lot of negative situations where that energy has been put towards.
Hmm. What advice do you give aspiring models coming from underrepresented communities? Like,
The advice that I would give to anybody who's an aspiring model, especially who's coming from an underserved community, is you got to use that fire, that you get from those communities, that the understanding that with every photo shoot, with every runway show, with every publication, with everything that you do in your modeling career, you need to understand that that is going to get you out of that environment, and it's going to provide a different life for you and a different life for the people that you love. And you need to work in that direction. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't mean that you're even going to be able to change millions of lives. It just means that you have to have that drive. You have to find that dog inside of you that pushes you when other people don't believe in you, when other people don't tell you that you're great. You have to know that you're going to be great.
this is very good. When you believe to yourself, it's very important. And so when you had a difficult life, I think you're more strong than the others. I think. If you could change one thing about modeling industry, what you would like to do?
If I could change one thing about the modeling industry, I would change the gatekeeping as far as people keeping certain opportunities from people that deserve them. Um, and I would also change well, it would be hard to change this, but I would love for it to be more, to feel more real and less superficial.
Mm,
Because just because someone's beautiful, I don't think you have to be superficial. And unfortunately, that's the way that the modeling industry is, where it's just, noses up and I'm better than you. And instead of like, uplifting each other and just literally just doing what a beautiful person does, just being.
yeah. You think that you have to be beautiful outside and inside.
I definitely do. I think that the most beautiful people in the world are the ones who shine from within.
I believe the same too. Um, who is Fazon when the cameras are off?
Uh, Working out. All jokes aside, for me, I think that I'm very involved in whatever community I'm in. Whenever like the cameras are off, I'm either helping people or I'm figuring out like what someone needs, or I'm relaxing myself to figure out like what I need, physically, mentally, spiritually. I'm a work in progress, and I feel like there's always something you can work on, within yourself, and every day. That's literally why I'm never bored, and I never understand why people get bored. But there's always something that you can do that can make you or someone else around you feel better and become better.
Mhm. What's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
Mm. Hmm. What I should learn about. I think for the most part, I think I'm an open book, but I think people will be surprised that I'm not vain at all. Like I talk to like almost everybody. I'm not like you know, when I say vain, I mean like I'm not like, oh, like, oh, don't talk to me, or
Mm.
you know, or I think I'm more friendly than people would imagine that I am. Like I
Mm.
try to be a really nice guy. I'm not nice every day. Um, try to be very nice.
Nobody of us, I think. Okay. Okay. Oh, no. I would like to ask you this. What legacy do you want to leave behind?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
What legacy? Leg-
What?
I didn't say right. What happened? What do you want to leave? Okay. What do you want to leave behind you?
Like you mean like when I like leave the earth, or
Yeah. When you can die? When you will die?
it's
Can
legacy?
wait?
Legacy.
Excuse me. Tell me again because sometimes I can't hear you at all.
Legacy.
Legacy. Ah,
I got you.
legacy.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So the legacy that I want to leave behind is um, someone who lived his best life, someone that helped people, and someone who just always tried to get better.
Nice. We want
All
this.
really good fashion taste. I hope I get that too.
Okay. Okay. What's next for you?
What's next for me? As far as like work wise, or
Yeah, what we will wait for you now? What you will do next? You have fashion shows, you have runway, you have commercials.
I'm definitely gearing towards film now, which is an exciting journey. Um, I'm actually working on a project where I'm going to be the lead actor, and
That's amazing.
really excited about that. So that'll be really cool. I've worked with the director before, and yeah. Other than that, just increasing my fitness goals, traveling. I'm looking into becoming a travel blogger.
Hmm.
You know, so
Sadorini.
what you say?
Sadorini, you can go to my island.
With all the whipped cream coffee.
Yeah, you will love Greece. Have you ever
I
been in Greece?
know, but I've hang out with a lot of Greek people, and I've had the food, and I've experienced some of the culture in Queens. So I love Greek people. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. That
I had spinal pizza in a while.
repeat, please again. I don't know why.
I haven't had spinal pizza in a while. Like I miss spinal pizza.
Okay, when you will eat spanakopita in Greece, it's much different from here.
It's like more
Trust me.
fresh.
Yeah, yeah. You anything you want in Greece or in Europe in general, just let me know. Don't worry. And now it's the time for the first game. Yes, no. Are you ready?
Yes.
So, is your career more important to you than starting a family right now?
Mm.
Quick. What did you say?
So yes.
Would you ever sacrifice a relationship for a major career opportunity?
No.
Do you believe success sometimes requires loneliness?
Yes.
Have you ever felt pressure to choose work over your personal life?
Yes.
Would you turn down a dream campaign if it went against your values?
Yes.
Is discipline more important than talent?
Yes.
Have you ever adopted your path in this industry?
I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Have you ever, never mind.
There-
Have you ever adopted?
No.
No. Would you work with someone you don't respect if the pay was extremely high?
Yes. Depends.
What did you say?
It depends on the amount of time. If it was like an hour, sure. Yes.
Have you ever stayed silent about unfair treatment to protect your career?
Yes.
Hmm. Do you think men in this industry are just judged as harshly as women?
No.
Would you rather be respected than famous?
Yes.
Have you ever felt misunderstood because of your public image?
Yes.
Have you ever flirted with someone on set?
Yes.
Have you ever gone on a date with someone you met through work?
Yes.
You didn't answer very fast, but thank you. You did very good job.
What a date is kind of considered. That's all.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We have two more games.
But
Now, You will repeat something that I will tell in Greek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so. Θέλω να ταξιδεύω συνέχεια.
Wait, you gotta break that down. Wait. That was long.
Okay, one more time, okay.
Okay.
Θέλω να ταξιδεύω συνέχεια.
Θέλω να ταξιδεύω συνέχεια.
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 Yeah, very good job.
Okay.
Θέλω να ταξιδεύω συνέχεια.
Yeah, that one.
One more time. Θέλω να ταξιδεύω συνέχεια.
Θέλω ταξιδεύω συνέχεια.
Perfect. Okay, the third game is guess what this means.
What that means?
Yeah.
It means that I'm a good model, but not a great model.
Model in Greek is modelo.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
yeah. Yes.
So it means I want to travel all the time.
I like that.
You see?
Cool.
Tell me again. Do you remember?
Oh.
It's okay. You did a very good job. Thank you very much. Would you like to tell something before we finish our interview for the people to give them something that you would like to tell them?
Yes, I would like to tell everyone, first of all, thank you for sitting through the interview. Thank you for some reason, want to listen to what I have to say. And just believe in yourself, no matter what you do. Don't compromise unless you feel like you want to. And understand that we only have a short amount of time on this world. So see what's important to you and live your life in that way. Don't allow anybody or anything or any fame or any situation determine who you are as a person.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the interview, for conversation, and for sure you will have you again here after the shooting for the film. You will tell us more. And bye-bye to everybody. And opa, we say in Greece.